Alexa and I have made it to Beppu on the South Island of Kyushu in Japan for one reason: STEAM. Last week, Alexa and I were dropped off by our ferry here in Beppu. And while that might seem like it was a coincidence, this place actually has a very interesting geographic and geologic history behind it, because it is the world capital of Onsen, which is basically just hot springs. This means that steam basically just rises out of the ground naturally all over the city. And as such, the people of Beppu use it for, well, kind of everything. They cook their food with it, they use it to power large parts of their city, and of course, they use it for the many onsen all around the town, which we're gonna experience later today. But first, we wanna show you guys something that is particularly cool about this area of Beppu, the 7 Hells of Beppu.
Before we get to the 7 Hells, we thought we would talk a little bit about the Kanawha district. So we are on Kanawha Street, which is the steamiest part of Beppu. There are a lot of other onsens in the city of Beppu, but this has the highest collection because it's the steamiest. So the hot springs, they get pretty hot. At the source, they get up to 150 degrees, but once they reach where we are, they're about 113. We're gonna check out an onsen later today when we're a little colder and a little more tired. And just for reference, it's about 45 degrees here in Beppu, which is perfect onsen weather.
So Alexa and I are making our way up to the 7 Hells from Kanawha Street right now. One of the things you'll definitely notice if you ever visit Beppu is the advertisements for the 7 Hells, because this is kind of their show, for lack of a better word. Now, each of these hells are very ornate, very unique in their own right, but I do want to point out one thing. These are not onsen for you to bathe in. They're just for viewing, and each one has a little bit of a unique story behind it that explains perhaps why we're not going to be able to bathe in them. But I'll tell you those one by one as we visit each. You'll also see this word jigoku as we go to each of these hells. That's just the Japanese word for hell. I don't know what this used to be behind me. Clearly some old building of some sort, but I find it fascinating that there's still just steam rising through the remnants of whatever was here. It's a steamy place. Now that is a lot of steam. Has a very distinct smell of eggs, which perhaps isn't that surprising. Right below me is the Sea Hell, which is called that because it is a bright blue color. Apparently it's about 100 degrees Celsius down there. And I really hope you guys can hear me because the steam vents are roaring loud right now. It's very cool, very bright. 1 hell down, at least 4 more to go, possibly 6.
As we were doing research, I saw that you can do foot baths throughout the city of Beppu, but right now, right by one of the hot springs we just saw, is a foot bath. So I'm excited to check it out. Slight change of plans. We don't have a towel, and since we still have a lot of walking left to do, we're not gonna do a foot bath just yet, but we'll check out one of the other ones. We're at the Oniishi Bozu Hell, which is a boiling mud onsen. Bozu is actually a play on words. It means Buddhist monk, and the boiling mud kind of looks like a Buddhist monk's head.
I think of all of the hells that we're gonna see today, I wanna touch this one the most. I'm not going to, but I really wanna see what that mud feels like.
So at each of the 7 hells, you can get a cute little stamp. And this means you can enter again. It's also a little collector's item. Unfortunately, we forgot to do the first one, but that's okay.
2 hells down.
5 to go.
Steam, steam everywhere.
So I know Geoff said the last one he really wanted to touch. I want to touch this clay and put it all over and then wash it off and just feel so good.
They really leaned into the hell aspect here. it's a devil or a demon or something. Alexa and I just paid to get some fresh 80 degrees Celsius hot spring water to drink. I'm gonna guess it's gonna taste like eggs.
I think so.
Here we go, bottoms up. Cheers. You know, it doesn't taste like eggs. It almost has like a saltiness to it.
I would say so.
Like hot salt water. If I had like a sore throat, this would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah. I don't know if I need a whole like gallon of it, but not bad.
Not bad.
Well, it is warm. It is just some light steam that comes up for you to warm your hands. My side's a little lacking.
So this is the Kamada Hell, which is an interesting one because even though it's bright blue right now, apparently depending on what the weather and temperature is, the hell will actually change to different colors. I don't know what colors. Right now it's bright blue. Just to give you a little perspective, it's about 45 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So I would love to see what it looks like in summer. Three hells down.
4 to go.
You can barely even see it. It's so steamy.
Do you think he got too steamy?
This is the crocodile hell, and there are a lot of crocodiles here, but they look like they're in small cages, which is kind of sad. I don't really know the full story about why all of these crocodiles are here. I can't read Japanese, but they don't look necessarily happy. This is a sad one. And for the record, we didn't really know that this was going to be like this. We thought this was mostly going to be just about seeing some onsen, some natural bubbling onsen. I did not think that there would be live animals involved in some capacity. There are a lot of crocodiles in there, and it's not a very big area. This one makes me sad. Free the crocodiles. Four hells down.
3 to go. This is the Shiraki Hell, which means white pond hell. They use this to warm up a tropical aquarium. There's a lot of steam. I like it. That's about it.
Those are some big fish. I think one of the things I'm most surprised about and also saddened by is just the conditions in which these animals are in. These are very small aquariums for very large fish, and it just doesn't seem cool that they aren't in a bigger space. That is 5 hells down.
2 to go.
But the other 2 are actually kind of far away from where we're at right now. So I think what we're gonna do is get some lunch first and then meander on over to the next 2 hells.
Sounds good to me. And we're not just doing any lunch, we're gonna do a special steam lunch.
Where else but Beppu? One of the most interesting things about being away from Osaka and Tokyo and Kyoto and being in a much more rural, suburban-ish kind of town is that Japan, not necessarily always pedestrian friendly, nor do they have trains and transit going everywhere. We are basically walking on the side of a street right now. It can feel a little dicey sometimes. Alexa and I found our steamy lunch to eat today. We're gonna go in here, and apparently we are going to cook entirely with steam.
It should be interesting.
So while Alexa and I are waiting for our food here at the steam cooking kitchen, I figured it would be fun to lay some geography facts about Beppu on you all. Apparently, Beppu is the second largest in the volume of water that is discharged by steam, behind only Yellowstone National Park in the United States. According to the city of Beppu, around 130,000 tons of water is discharged every single day here. And I think a lot of that is by steam. And within Japan, fully 10% of all onsen are within Beppu. which, if you take the population of Beppu, which is just a little over 100,000 people, and compare that to Japan, which has 124 million people, that is less than 1% of Japan's population that has over 10% of the onsen, which is a really fun statistical fact. Okay, our food is just about to be here, so we are gonna eat our lunch, and then we'll get back on the road here.
Okay, so we just got our steamed food. We have a vegetable plate with 2 boiled steamed eggs. We got some pork belly, and then cheesecake for dessert. Steamed cheesecake for dessert.
Super yummy lunch, but Alexa and I have to run and catch a bus to the next 2 Hells, which is coming in about 10 minutes and takes about 10 minutes to get to by walking. And the buses do not run very often here, so if we miss this one, we may as well just walk the 30 minutes there. Alexa and I have officially made it to the last 2 Hells, and I will say, 1, if you're coming up here, you have to be willing to put in the effort. These are a little bit farther departed from the other Hells. And 2, a lot of people did put in the effort. I was quite surprised. Our bus was packed.
Yes.
There was a lot of people on it. And it looks like there's a lot of people who are going to try and get back. So that'll be fun for us to do later.
This is actually my first geyser I've ever seen.
So this is Tatsumaki Hell, which is also known as Tornado Hell. And it doesn't look like much right now, but apparently about every 30-40 minutes, a big old geyser shoots up. I don't think it'll quite be the same as Old Faithful in Yellowstone, but should still be pretty cool, I think. We just gotta wait for it to happen. That's about where the geyser is gonna shoot from, and apparently they built this ceiling on top of it so that we could stand a little bit closer, because if they didn't have that, the geyser would go up to 30 meters or 90 feet into the air, which means water would get everywhere. Hot water. Six Hells down.
1, 2, go!
And finally, we have Chinoiki Hell, also known as Blood Pond. This is one of the most striking hells because it is a deep red color, kind of like blood, although I would say it's a little more orangey than that. But it's apparently also one of the oldest hells. So there's that. Finally getting our foot bath. It's hotter than I think both of us realized, but it feels nice now. And that makes 7 out of 7 Hells.
Oh, which means I need 1 more stamp.
Just 1 more stamp. With all of our stamps except for 1, and seeing all of the 7 Hells, eating a steamy lunch, and getting a steamy foot bath, there's only 1 thing left to do.
Onsen, onsen, onsen.
We are gonna go to an onsen, which means going all the way back to where we just came from. So, back to the bus. Well, we tried to get a private onsen for the evening. Unfortunately, they were all booked up until 10 p.m. tonight. So we instead scheduled one for tomorrow morning, and I guess that's what we're gonna do. So for now, we are gonna go back home and I guess kind of call it a night. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It is the next day here at the exact same onsen that we were at yesterday. Alexa and I have made our way back here because we now have a reservation for a private onsen. And we are both very much looking forward to getting in there, but we're here just a little bit early because the bus systems do not run super frequently here in Beppu, which means we have a little bit of time to kill. And we're killing the time just by hanging out at the foot bath right outside the onsen. It's actually a lot quieter here this morning. And I think that's because yesterday was actually a national holiday for Japan called National Foundation Day, which is basically when Japan became a thing. It is no longer a holiday, which means I think most people are working. So we kind of have the place to ourselves a little bit, at least from the outside looking in. We'll see when we get inside.
Welcome to our onsen. I'm going to give you a quick little tour so we have the max amount of time to enjoy it. So you enter in here, you have to take off your shoes before you enter the rest of the space. Right here we have a bench. We were able to get 2 towels and then also some face towels. And for when we're done, we also have a hair dryer. We can put all of our clothes, hanger jackets over here, more storage space right here. And then, like I said, when we're done, if I need to dry my hair, I totally can. They have soaps and mist pumps and just like a little getting ready area. And then right here, this is how you get the hot water into the onsen, which I'm going to show you right now. So we would put it in here, and then that's how the water works. So this is it. Clearly there's no water in here just yet, but we will put water in a minute. But before we get into the hot water, first we have our cleaning station. So we need to kind of basically take like a mini shower to get really clean before we're able to get into the onsen. Here we have a bathtub area. I'm assuming this is colder water, so then we can cool down between the hot and the cold. This will be the main onsen where we're able to be in the warm, minerally water. And then we've got a steam room. And so we can sit in there for a few minutes. We have this place for 75 minutes, and it's just for us. We got one of the family rooms here at the onsen, and we're looking forward to enjoying it.
Our onsen is quickly filling up. However, this is where things get a little awkward because onsen are a nude affair, which means Alexa and I need to get fully undressed before we can get into the onsen. So we're not going to record that, but after I get in, I'll tell you guys how it feels and sort of what the experience is like. Well guys, I am sitting here in the onsen now. I am naked. I realized after the fact that we probably could have brought our bathing suits, but that's not the onsen way. I think the only thing that I kind of want to bring up sort of here as we experience this onsen is that there are public onsens in Japan. In fact, that's probably the more common kind of onsen. And it's sort of where you are just in and amongst everybody else, usually separated between men and women, but otherwise you're just sort of hanging out with a bunch of other very naked people. That wasn't super easy for us to do. For one, we kind of wanted to film this experience for you all to see, but also I have a number of tattoos, and in Japan, tattoos and onsen don't really mix. I think there might be a few different reasons for this. One of the most common reasons I've heard is because of the connection between tattoos and the Yakuza, which is a Japanese sort of organized crime. And because of that, and perhaps where Yakuza did their business, primarily in onsen, they have largely been banned in most of the onsen in Japan. There are tattoo-friendly onsen in Japan, and they will be clearly marked, but most are not that way. And so, here we are in our private onsen.
We are finished with our private family bath onsen. It was so relaxing. My body feels so nice and warm and cozy, and now I just want to like curl up and read a book. What an amazing experience. I loved going from the hot to the cold to the steam, reverse it all around. It was great.
If you guys are ever in Japan, you get a chance to do an onsen, try it out. Whether it's a public onsen or a private onsen, it's just a really nice experience just to sit there and relax for a little while. This has been a super duper fun episode. One thing we didn't really talk about yesterday was sort of what we thought about each of the hells. Alexa, what was your favorite hell?
So my favorite was Sea Hell. I thought it was just so big, lots of steam with the blue. It was beautiful. I don't know, it was my favorite. What about you?
I agree. I think the Sea Hell was also my favorite. It was very bright, it was very blue. The one that I was most disappointed by was the Blood Pond. It was not quite as red as it had been made out to be. The ones that made me the most sad though were the crocodile and the one with the tropical fish aquarium.
Same.
Yeah, seeing all the crocodiles in their small little cages, they're tropical animals. Japan's not that tropical. Again, it was pretty cold yesterday. I don't know, it just kind of made me think that it could have been done better. It's also interesting in that I think all of the hells are run by different companies. I don't think this is a single thing or single organization controlling them all. And so that's why each one of them had a little bit of a different flair, especially as you walk through gift stores and the like. Well, this sums up our time here in Japan. Alexa and I are off to
Taiwan.
So come back next week for another adventure in Taiwan. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.
people were looking at us. We're at the Oni. Warm.
No, describe what it is for the video.
Oh. This is the Shiraki. It should be into steaming. Oh, no, it didn't work out. Interesting.